93-year-old Ray Zotti is a veteran, husband, father of 6, and a pigeon racer. Ray's first encounter with these birds happened when he was a sophomore in high school. Pigeons were becoming a nuisance as they filled the rafters at the railroad work shed his father worked at.
They trapped a couple of birds that were white and they had rings on them. So they saved them. And then they asked me to come over and look at them. Well, I figured they were homing pigeons because I knew that somehow or other that homing pigeons had a band on.
Curious about the hobby, Ray journeyed multiple times to Mishawaka, Indiana, where many Belgian pigeon racers live. Pigeon racing is a national pastime of the Belgian people, so he thought he would be successful in his search, but found out it was a lot more difficult than he thought.
Some old timer was sitting there, and when he saw me coming down the alley, he stopped, and he says, "I see you come down here every week." He's talking broken English. He says, "What are you looking for?" And I says, "Well, I'm from Chicago, and I'm interested in these pigeons. I want to know more about racing pigeons." He says, "Oh." I says, "How come nobody would talk to me?" He says, "Well, they say you're getting off the train, and they figure you were from Chicago, and you would be a gangster, so they didn't want any part of it." But anyhow, when I told him my interest, he invited me in. He showed me the loft, and that was the first time I saw a loft of racing pigeon, and I was impressed. I went back there every week, and I just plied it with one question after the other. And he very patiently explained all facets, how to feed the birds, how to breed them, how to train them, how to race them, everything.
And Ray had a lot to learn about the sport. At an early age, these birds get an ID tag band around their foot. Once they are strong enough, they begin their training. Training consists of letting the birds go, increasing the distance from their loft to practice their abilities to fly home.
These are what they call the traps. These are aluminum bobs. The bird pushes that in, and then he can't go out.
During a race, all the birds are let go at the same time, and the first to make it back, get clocked in, and recorded wins. Winners win money that was collected from the entry fee, and those are just the basics.
If I wanted to take up pigeon racing, I would not even know where to begin. He would look at the pigeon's eyes and look at the feathers and stuff that I wouldn't even begin to understand.
To me, I always watch the sear and the flesh around the eye. If the birds are real healthy, that gets to be real white.
The finer part about picking the right bird, no good at it, never will be. I couldn't even, it's like me picking a horse, I just kind of take a guess.
And Ray knows his birds. Each one has their own story.
This bird was unusually intelligent. When he saw me out there, he knew he was going to get grabbed and clocked. So he wouldn't go in the loft. And I had to go back in the house and disappear before he would go in. And all the kids, when they were there, if he saw them out, I had to shag them all into the basement so that the bird would trap. And the funny part is, we would lose maybe 5 or 6 minutes sometimes, and it would still wound up second or third in the club. And the bird got quite a reputation.
If you happened to be coming home and when a pigeon was coming in, he couldn't tell you to shut up. He would because he couldn't spook the bird, but he'd be and he couldn't even wave at you. He'd just give you that evil eye. So everybody knew in the house that that's what you don't do, is come into the yard. You kind of look around and make sure it's not doing his little whistle and getting birds in.
Come on.
He explained to us that if you want to be successful in flying pigeons, you got to give the pigeon a motivation to come home.
This one bird, he had such an impressive record. I thought, well, I'm going to stock this bird. That fall, I decided, well, I'm going to take this one good female and paired it with him. So I killed his mate. I didn't know it at the time, but he was flying to her. When he would come from a race, he would go right up to his nest and look for his mate, make love. But anyhow, And the next spring, this good racer, he didn't perform anywhere as like he did the year before. I figured, uh-oh, maybe that was a fluke. So I flew him a couple more races, and finally we were flying a 300-mile race. This guy didn't show up, and he never showed up again. He was gone. I was heartbroken.
These pigeons meant a lot to Ray.
He was our baseball coach. So somehow he would always manage to tell baseball is like flying pigeons. We never could get it, but that was always a joke. Whatever we did, I mean, when I played basketball in high school, he was like, you know, it's like flying a pigeon. It's like racing a pigeon. It's like raising a pigeon. You know, I'm imagining in my head, how does a pigeon jump or how does a pigeon shoot a basketball? But he always equated it to pigeon flying.
The pigeons also meant a lot to the family. The kids were so proud of their dad's birds that their infamous college parties had t-shirts themed after them.
Everybody would get a t-shirt, so everybody knew about pigeons. So, you know, he was pretty famous for his pigeons.
Nothing will keep him from his passion. Not the Depression, not World War II, not even the constant environmental threats like hawks.
His big dream was to win the big race. You know, so we kind of, you know, had that dream with him.
First sitting is an accomplishment. I won second 5 or 6 times, but never won a first. And when I got over here, I won my first. Those 2 trophies right there are the ones for that win.
Although the trophies are nice, this family can safely say that their true accomplishment lies in the strong family ties they've formed around these birds.
Because of his pigeons, we were always very close, you know, so, and we still talk about it to this day.